I am a responsible driver. The thought of slamming my mother's 2017 model silver Honda CR-V into the soft, vulnerable bodies of pedestrians because I was driving too fast and not paying attention scares the shit out of me. Not necessarily because I'd feel bad about it, but because of the personal consequences I would face. To be perfectly honest with you, a lot of them have it coming. Regardless, the point is that I don't speed. No one in my family does, and that's important because we all share the same car. Over the past 3 years, this car has received at least 3 speeding tickets, maybe even 4, I can't really remember. How is that possible, you may ask? If you don't speed, how are you getting speeding tickets? Well, I'll tell you. Speed traps, cameras, George Orwell's 1984 type bullshit. Not once has this vehicle's operation ever caught the attention of a police officer and made them think, I need to pull them over. The last 2 speeding tickets that this car has received were for going 13 and 11 kilometers over the limit, respectively, aka the same speed that everyone who isn't getting horned and passed by the people behind them is driving at, on empty roads, with nobody around, and no danger being posed to anybody. If I have to explain to you why that is tyrannical, draconian, money-hungry, nanny state bullshit, then you're a lost cause. Now, how do speed traps work? Typically, there will be 2 cameras set up along a stretch of road that record a vehicle's speed. If along this stretch of road the vehicle maintains a speed greater than the legal limit, a snapshot of its license plate will be taken and the government will steal your money. The specifics of how they work is largely irrelevant. What's important is that in order to take a picture of your license plate, there needs to be a camera. And cameras have lenses, and lenses are made of glass. 22 long rifle, paintball guns, hell, a ladder with a piece of duct tape or a hammer, and you could be a local hero. Back in the day, you had to slay a dragon. Now you just have to destroy a camera. Speed bumps are another fun one. They like to put them in there to slow you down, damage your car, and make your day just that teensy bit more unpleasant. But what a lot of people don't realize is that they're not actually put in there that well. With a little bit of time, some elbow grease, and a pickaxe, you could take them right out. Bring a 6-pack and a few of your boys and it could be a fun night. Just think of it as going on a quest in Dungeons and Dragons or some shit, only instead of slaying goblins, you're committing petty crimes. But if you think about it, what is a crime? Everyone knows that legality and morality have almost nothing to do with one another. This type of bullshit exists solely to punish the working man. The rich and powerful don't feel the pain of getting a speeding ticket or f***ing up their car because some bureaucratic thought it would be a good idea to put 6 inches of cement in the middle of the road. But it's not as if this shit saves lives.
This is the number of people who've been convicted since 1996. It was around about 250,000. Now it's just gone past, or rather by 2001, which is the last year for which we have figures available, it's gone past 1 million in a year. And yet, the number of road deaths, virtually constant.
The only real purpose it serves is to f*** you and let politicians pat each other on the back for pretending to do their jobs. The local news might label you a criminal, but in all likelihood that's just state-funded media anyways. Their boo should make you smile. Robin Hood had wanted posters with his face plastered on them posted up everywhere. Ask your neighbor what he thinks about all the speed cameras in his area mysteriously getting f***ed up for a real taste of public opinion.
Yep. Yep.
And what about all the homeless people walking around, spitting on everybody, pissing everywhere, and jerking off in public? Why not kill them? It wouldn't be hard to do, and I doubt they're enjoying life very much as it is. It's not like they're going to be cleaning themselves up and getting off the street anytime soon. Once a person spends a certain amount of time living the homeless lifestyle, they go feral, and there's no fixing them. It's like going hollow in Dark Souls. You could stalk the streets at night and slowly pick them off one by one, terrorize them into leaving the neighborhood. It's either that or, run the risk of disappearing. Of course, the police might try and stop you, but realistically, they only ever solve murders when it's a pretty white girl who gets killed. You could probably clean out a whole alleyway full of homeless, the way Goblin Slayer clears out a cave. No one would give a shit. The local shopkeepers might even thank you. Implementing the final solution to the homeless question would definitely make the streets much safer, but danger never really goes away entirely, especially not if you live in a part of town with a high population of fresh-off-the-boat Indians. They like to If you really wanted to go the extra mile and be a real good Samaritan, you could go out after dark and follow women home from the bar. Get onto the same subway car as them, then onto the same bus, and when they're making the final trek back to their house, start sprinting after them while screaming threats of sexual violence. Of course, you're not actually going to do anything, you're just making them aware that you could. You're making them understand how vulnerable they are so that next time they'll be more careful. It's a fun night out and you'll be doing a service to your community. Speaking of protesters, aren't they detestable? Don't you hate seeing a bunch of low-life, unemployed, mentally retarded hanging around street corners with a bunch of cliche signs bitching about who knows what and generally being annoying? I know I sure do, especially when they're complaining about foreign desert wars that have absolutely nothing to do with North America or Western Europe. This is Earth, not Arrakis. If you love the desert people so much, then you can go and live with them. Otherwise, shut the f up and keep your tribal desert rides to yourself. I'm getting off topic. The point is that I hate protesters, regardless of what it is they are protesting, and so should everybody else. They are smug, self-flating retards, and they don't want you to know this, but you can hit them with your car. Not legally, of course, but I don't think anything in this video so far has been legal. Speaking of which, if you don't want to risk going to prison, you could always go on a quest without breaking the law. You know, if you're a square. Instead of spray painting speed cameras or pickaxing speed bumps, you could fill in potholes at midnight or something. It's not like the government's ever going to get around to doing it, and that's the type of thing that every man who's ever driven a car daydreams about doing but never actually does. Imagine if you did it. Imagine how good that would feel driving down a road that no longer has any holes in it anywhere and being the only person in the world who knows it's because of you. Or, instead of homeless people, you could walk around your local Skid Row handing out fresh needles. I'm sure they'd appreciate it. Maybe if you're a trust fund kid, you could walk around your local mall handing out 20s to people who look like they're having a bad day. That'd be kinda nice. I mean, the possibilities are endless. You don't have to be a boring guy who sits at home staring at your walls all day. You know, politicians are a lot easier to kill than most people realize. The only reason that most assassination attempts fail is because the people the CIA get to do them are always mentally ill retards. But realistically, with modern rifles, if you're a half-decent shot, there isn't a whole lot that any Secret Service detail in the world could do to stop you. Everyone knows where these people are going to be days, if not weeks or months before they get there. They're constantly out in the public in wide open spaces, and one of their favorite activities is standing still on a stage and talking for extended periods of time. Hell, if you're really smart, you could probably even get away with it. It wouldn't have to be a one-way trip. Whenever these guys get caught, it boggles my f***ing mind. If I was going to risk throwing away my life like that, I sure as hell wouldn't do it on a whim and with a hackneyed rifle. This shit is just laughable. Another fun quest to go on would be forming a terrorist group with very specific and niche goals. Not something pointless and esoteric, because that would be a waste of time, but something funny that would have a slim chance of actually happening, like making weed legal federally or decriminalizing drunk driving. You could bomb DMVs all across the country and leave behind a bottle of Jack Daniels and a copy of your manifesto as a calling card. That'd be a hell of a time. You know, regardless of what quest you decide to embark upon, whether it be of a legal nature or otherwise, it's important that you at least make sure you have one to go on. Life is suffering, and it can get very long and very boring if you let it. You need to have something that keeps you going, something to get you out of bed in the morning.